Okay, hello everyone, welcome and thanks for joining us. Sorry we're a little bit late. To be honest, that was my fault. I forgot to push the live button because we were talking in the background. So, but today we are joined with the lovely Sammy from Japan, and of course everyone knows Rick, the Quackers Carnivore. Alrighty, so today, we're just going. It's pretty casual talk. We're just going to talk about anything. It's pretty much anything that pops up, really. So, pretty informal, but it is the barbecue pit, and we're going to talk about our food and things like that as well. So, actually, we were talking about the economy before, but what about food? Food's heavily affected by that sort of thing. So, Rick, what's it like buying food over there at the moment?
Nothing is a really good deal anymore. Once in a while you'll get a sale, but it's double what it was a few years ago. The only thing that's still a good deal are duck eggs, iguanas, and the occasional duck. They're still for free if you can grab them. But anything in the store, the eggs are double what they were last year. Everything is just way too expensive.
Yeah, yeah, it's getting crazy. Egg prices here are nuts at the moment too. So you have to really shop around and yeah, yeah. How about you, Sammy? How are things over there with your food prices in Japan?
Yeah, exact the same thing in the global thing, isn't it? You know, yeah, everything is very expensive. The beef is expensive, but I have switched to kind of that change the type of meat. Previously, I ate like a brisket and a chunks, but
Yeah,
currently though, what I'm eating is Japanese beef. Yeah, very fibrous and kind of a chewy stuff because which is by far more cheap and because Japanese yen its value is decreasing
yeah,
linearly decreasing. That's why buying imported which it was the case. I always ate Australian briskets and stuff. Now I coming back to Japanese beef, very very cheap one. That's
oh
the way
yeah,
I'm surviving.
yeah, yeah. Even last time I visited Japan was just over a year ago, but yeah, it was. You could see the price increase, like in meat and things like that. But what's crazy though is I could still get Australian beef cheaper in Japan than I could in Australia.
Hmm. Yeah,
That's
I know
crazy.
how world economy works. No one knows. But most biggest topic in Japan in terms of the price hike is rice. I have no
Yeah,
business with rice, but as you already know, people love eating rice, and
yeah,
the price of rice almost triple or four times, even higher to some brands.
yeah,
They were crazy
yeah. I
crazy
think
about that.
like these fake food shortages, like at the moment, like in Australia, it's eggs. Like in America,
Mm,
it's eggs. But because they're more popular foods, like eggs are pretty much used in most foods, even processed foods
mm.
here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But
Vegetarians can even eat eggs. Yeah,
yeah,
more versatile, more
yeah, that's right.
acceptable food
Yeah,
for many
but in
spectrum of
Japan,
the diet.
yeah, in
Yeah.
Japan, rice is probably
Oh,
one of the
oh, big
biggest sellers.
deal.
So yeah, so
More
it
important
really
than
wouldn't make
beef.
much. Yeah, it wouldn't make much difference if they had an egg shortage there. But if
Hmm.
you have a rice shortage,
Oh,
it,
exactly. That is why
yeah,
the even Japanese government stepped in the market price, but nothing worked. It seems.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
that's right. So, yeah, it seems a bit odd, doesn't it? Like
Yeah,
over here,
it
it's
is.
you can see like all these you can see it happening. Like, well, most people can see it
Mm.
happening. Other people just think, well, it's just the
But still, at
way
the
it is.
end of the day, eating carnivore lifestyle is much cheaper than a vegetarian than vegans in Japan.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Mm.
Right.
Yeah, even in Japan, it's still cheaper to eat meat.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Mm.
If
Yeah,
you're not so
I
picky,
agree.
Susie.
Mm. And here too, like because you're not eating all the time either, too. So,
Mm. Oh, yeah.
mm,
Agree.
yeah. So, Rick, Rick, you're like the urban survivalist, right? You've got he's like he's got a long list of places he can go to find cheap meat, like mystery meat, dumpster
Iguana.
meat, iguana, chickens, parking lot chickens, and
Yep.
ducks and so on. But what are the prices like there? Like, have you? I mean, you don't worry about eggs so much. Do you eat many eggs?
Nah, if I don't find them, I don't eat them. I mean, I
Yeah,
probably got a couple of dozen in the refrigerator right now. I have 2 a day of my duck eggs. I went duck egg hunting earlier, but it started raining, so I had to come back. Now the sun is out, but I'll go in the morning and look for more nests. But
yeah,
I'll find some. But yeah, the duck eggs and then the ground beef. The ground beef I got it when it was $2.99 a pound, and I bought like 5 or 6 of them. I buy whatever they have. I can go for a few weeks until they have another sale. Then I'll buy more. But I do the heart attack chicken. The chicken 78 cents a pound for chicken legs, and they also have pork chops for 99 cents a pound. So I do some of that once in a while, but it's mostly the ground beef, the duck eggs, and whatever meat I can find. And I do hit the dumpster every time I go there. They did throw out some kind of steaks, so I ate those. They were okay. I've yet to get sick from dumpster meat, but and I share it with a cat. He's fine. So I mean, it
yeah,
works. I mean, I probably
yeah.
spend about $10 a day on food.
Oh, that's pretty reasonable. That's very good.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm.
$10. Yeah,
And
like
I
$2.99 for ground beef. Like that's per pound, so it's about $6 a kilo. That's really cheap. That's really cheap.
hmm
Mm.
Like here in Australia, like the cheapest ground beef you can get is like from Costco at the moment is about um, 10. I think it's $11 a kilo. So
Mm.
yeah,
Reasonable. In Japan, you can't get the pure 100%, beef, minced beef.
yeah,
Always
they mix it with
combination of the,
pork. Yeah,
yeah, pork, because we
yeah,
love pork.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Mm.
always found that too in Japan. Like there's always it was usually like at least a 30% mix of pork.
Oh,
Just
yes, you know
ground
that
beef.
ratio exactly. 70 to 30,
Yeah.
always.
So
Mm.
yeah, that was kind of annoying, but it wasn't bad. I mean, it
Oh,
was
no, no,
pork.
not at all.
Yeah,
Not at all.
pork's nice and
Yeah.
fatty, so
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
good. Mm,
Let's get dried.
yeah. So what are some money saving tips that you might have, Sammy, for sticking to the carnivore diet?
That's a good question. You know what? In Japan, if you buy a beef, the supermarkets offers the free beef, not
Yeah,
beef taro per se, little bit refined, but using this fat, it's a free, right?
yeah,
It always helps my budget. And the thing is that in Japan, still the fat is evil. You shouldn't eat that saturated fat. But that's why they kind of cut the fat off. That's kind of a beneficial, not beneficial, somewhat like helps my budget. And other than that, let's see. Yeah, I don't. The way I cook beef is just the broil it and no fancy fryers and ovens and stuff. So quite, cheap to cook. Period.
yeah,
And then no, condiments, right? Just a
yeah.
salt. Mm,
Yeah, that's another good point there. Like, we don't use condiments so much. Like we use salt, like a good salt, and that's about it. So
right.
you're saving money on that sort of thing as
Hmm.
well. How about you, Rick? Do you get like you don't use any sauces or anything like that, do you?
No, I actually made up some salt about 5 years ago. I'm not even halfway through it, and
Oh,
basically it was just from groundwater, and then I evaporated it, I crystallized it, and ground it up. What I do, I take dried beef gelatin and I mix it with the salt, and then that way it keeps it from sticking together. I mean, it eventually sticks together, but it keeps it in a container. I don't use any spices at all, and I only put salt on chicken, occasionally pork, once in a while iguana, but I never salt my seafood and I never salt my beef. So, but
okay.
Mm.
sometimes it makes the iguana better. Some of the iguanas taste better than others. If it's a little, bland tasting, you can hit it with some salt. It's the same thing with the chicken. The chicken a lot of times is very basic. It doesn't taste like anything. A parking lot chicken is very flavorful, but you normally have to cook it slowly or you have to do it in a pressure cooker. Otherwise, the meat is very tough and very dry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fatty beef or fatty meat or fatty fish or something. They don't need a lot of flavor because already flavorful with fat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Plus, they don't usually need long cooking either because it's the fat is so tender. Yeah. So
Mm,
it usually tenderizes the meat. But yeah,
right.
chicken's not very fatty. At least parking lot chicken. Well, hopefully it'd be sort of wild fed too. Yeah. $2.99 a pound for ground beef is good. I recently moved from Dallas to Long Beach, and I can assert that I've had the best energy, less chance for disease and camaraderie in doing carnivore diet. Well, that's good, Nathan. Excellent.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Carnivores. It's not a competition. Like we're all just really, we're all just trying to help each other get find the best ways to get healthy again. A lot of people.
mm.
Um, but it's good just to. I think it's a really great thing too. Like Rick's in Florida in the US. Sammy's in Japan in Yokohama. I'm in Australia. This is a good thing. Like we can talk about everything that's affecting us all around, like around the world. But we can also talk about getting healthy, eating the right food, and things that affect us. So it's really cool. It's I think you see that with other sort of communities so much. Um, so what are some other like money saving tips that you guys have like during? I mean, outside of diet,
Mhm.
that maybe help people, at the moment because things are getting a little bit expensive and a little bit crazy, but people still got to survive, don't they? So,
Yeah,
how about
yeah.
you?
I have two tips. One is my training exercise. I quit going to the gym. I quit the membership of the gym, and
Yeah,
then since then I switched to do my training at home, which
nice.
is tremendously pure budget. And then even yeah, a little bit I miss the heavy lifting like a barbell squat, back squatting, the deadlifting. But even switch to the unilateral movement from bilateral movement. You don't need to have a hell of a lot of plates. And this is one of the ways I can cut the cost. Secondly, I always try to maximize sun exposure on my balcony. I
Yeah,
don't have a beachy vacations. I don't have a fancy, chamber to, toast yourself to get the, vitamin D synthesis, all of that. And then on top of that, being on the balcony, even in the middle of the day, I get the infrared light, which is a kind of a therapeutic light, right? The spectrum.
right.
So
Yeah,
just being outside, free treatment from the sun.
yeah,
How nice is that?
yeah, yeah. I agree.
There we
No,
go.
good tips. Yeah, great tips.
Mm.
You're right. You like gym memberships; they're quite expensive. So, like training at home, yeah, it can make a
Mhm.
big difference. And unilateral training, I think, is something everyone should be
Oh,
doing.
amazing, amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. So, yeah. How about you, Rick? Some great saving tips.
Well, when it comes to saving money, as you know, I am the cheapest of the cheap, and I save money
Mhm.
any way that I can. I hit the dumpster, I hit the trash pile, I hit the yard sale. I save things, I reuse things, I do all my own work. I never pay anybody to do anything. I fix everything in the house, from electrical to plumbing to roofing to whatever it takes to do. And, mechanically, I've never been to a mechanic. I never eat out. I never go on vacation. I'm basically just, work, eat, sleep, and that's it. And when it comes to food, I look for all the sales because I'm a carnivore and I basically eat meat. I can buy as much as I can, stick it in the freezer. So I can have up to 6 months of food stuffed away in my 2 or 3 freezers. And I don't run the air conditioning in the house as long as I can get away without it. Like right now, I'm only running it in this room. The rest of the house has no air conditioning. I don't turn it on until it gets really, really hot. And other than that, let's see what else. I make my own soap. Uh, I make my
Wow.
own. Yeah, I make my own.
How?
Well, I make it from whatever animal fats I have and wood ashes. I burn all the branches and everything from the yard, coconut husks and everything, collect the
Oh,
ashes, filter it out, make a potassium
wow.
hydroxide. Then I use the used lard or the used tallow that I've cooked with, and put that into a container, heat it up, and let it saponify. So I make my own soap. I don't use, I'm probably the cheapest person you could ever imagine. I haven't bought clothes in years, and I don't buy anything designer or expensive. When my truck broke down, and it's still broken down, I do have my van, but it's halfway broken down. I ride my bicycle for all the short trips now because my truck is broken. And as you may have seen in my videos, I even take used seed oils and I use them to run my diesel truck. And in the past, I used to run my other truck on wood. So I probably buy about 10 gallons of gasoline in the entire year. It's been a long time since I've had to buy diesel. Yeah, I cut my energy use. I try to make my food as cheap as possible. And I try to catch whatever wild meat I can, whether it be Muscovy duck, parking lot chicken, iguana, even pigeon meat, whatever I can get my hands on. And I'll cook that up and go
Pigeon.
fishing. Yeah,
Wow.
pigeon. We had a pigeon problem at one time. So I learned the
Oh.
art of eating squab.
But
Squab is young pigeon.
do pigeons eat kind of a garbage stuff?
In the city they do, but around here they eat mostly seeds. You know, it's a neighborhood. They don't really eat garbage, but I think the ducks probably eat more garbage than the pigeons do. But yeah,
I see.
I've
Yeah,
been
city
adaptable.
pigeons are incredibly unedible because of the food they are eating. They are picking a literally shit or vomit. Oh, sorry, the vomiting stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah, I
ones in
saw
the
it.
city. Yeah, the ones in the city. Ones here
Yeah,
are pretty good.
Okay.
I've even eaten garden snails. You know, if it's moving, I'll find a way to cook it.
Wow, are you gonna skew the snake? Skew that, or just how do
Oh,
you cut
you
them?
boil it. What you do, you catch all the snails and you feed them for about a week or so to clean them out. You give them good, clean plants like lettuce if you have it, or any kind of banana leaves or anything that's good for them to eat. It cleans out their system. And then you just boil them. You just put them in water and you boil them. Then you crack the shell and you take out the snail meat. It's good if you do it right. I mean, the French people, they have escargot. They cook it in butter.
Sure.
It's the same thing.
Very tasty.
But they were in my garden, and I tried to kill them. I thought, well, I wonder if they're edible. And I looked it up, and then, yeah, you can eat them as escargot. So I turned them into escargot.
Nice.
That's,
I have, yeah. Go.
so I was just going to say like that. I mean, that's a delicacy in France now that it's sort
Sure.
of stemmed from people starving. You know, like people were starving and they needed to find food, so they started eating things like snails and frogs' legs and things like that. But now I mean, now they're actually quite expensive because it's
Rick, you wanna set up some business. Hey, it's a kind of a nutritious and very organic, snake. You have to
Well,
make some marketing.
That's true. And then I give away a bunch of fruits and vegetables from my yard to my friends, especially my vegan friends. They love the avocados and the mangoes and the bananas. They love all that stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I mean, it's actually it's quite interesting actually when you're talking about snails. Like I've never had snails myself, but actually I did try one actually once, but it was very rubbery and I didn't like it, so I haven't eaten them since. But like these things they basically stem from people starving, like entire nations were actually, even the same with rabbits. Like rabbits are quite popular in like the UK and France as well. They actually bred some rabbits. They actually bred for their size because some rabbits get really quite big. And they bred them for the meat.
But
you know.
very lean, right? Lean
Yeah,
to the
very
point
lean
that if
meat.
you
So
just
that's why
eat
you get,
rabbit, you're gonna
yeah,
die.
Unless
that's
you
right.
deep fry it.
Yeah, that's,
Oh,
yeah. Unless you add fat to it, but
Deep fried in beef tallow, the same way you cook heart attack chicken or duck.
yeah, that's right.
mm,
But that's why they got the term, like from the UK, they got the term rabbit starvation because of protein
mm,
poisoning, not eating enough fat. But I mean, it all comes down to like they resorted to these foods purely because of economic starvation, you know. And there's a lot of cultures around the world, like 95%. I was talking to Peter Ballester about this. 95% of the world's vegetarians are vegetarians simply because of economic reasons, not because of
mm. Not the
philosophical
choice.
reasons. Like, yeah, they just don't
Um,
have the choice, you know.
mm,
Um, and you know things like in Asian countries too, where dog meat, for example, is quite popular to eat dog meat in China.
and
Again,
Korea as
and
well.
Korea, yeah,
Dog
and
eating
Korea,
culture.
and
Yeah.
and even other parts of Asia as well. But
Mm,
generally speaking, the reason why they resorted to eating dog meat is because they didn't have access to ruminant meat,
mm,
fatty ruminant meat.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all economic reasons.
Of course, when I was a kid, I was born in a small town of Nagano Prefecture, center of Japan.
Yeah,
Back in hundreds and centuries ago, they didn't have a protein source in the winter time. That is
yeah,
why they kind of ended up digging a hole to get some kind of the worms and insect eggs and all of that. It became delicacy. But
yeah,
even Japanese people back then, they ate a hell of a lot of insects.
yeah,
They were ahead of the
yeah,
time.
yeah. That's right. Well, again, there's for economic reasons. You know, they just
Yeah,
didn't have access to these ruminant animals in Japan. They didn't
mm,
have.
had
I
no
mean,
choice.
yeah, that's right. When you got no choice, people will eat anything they can to survive. You know,
Mm.
and they'll even resort to eating some pretty extreme measures too. So um, yeah, but yeah, the same with actually horse meat. You know, like when like the siege of Alexandria, when the French troops had scurvy and they were all getting sick from scurvy, and so because all they were eating was biscuits and so on,
Mm.
they their surgeons started feeding them on horse meat because they were siege, they were completely surrounded by the British and so on, so they couldn't go out and get fresh meat or anything like else. So they relied on the troops' horses. And then after that, it became a delicacy in France, and they've been eating it ever since. They love raw horse meat over there.
Yeah, yeah, we do eat horse meat.
Mm. Yeah, it's the same
Yeah.
in Japan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, these trends, I mean, they start from, people just simply starving to death or, for health reasons and so on. But
Yeah.
now they're today quite expensive delicacies. It's crazy.
Seems
Mm.
like Mongolians. Look at the Mongolians. They are big and very strong. That
Yeah.
I think I can extend back to the idea of the eating a lot of horse, historically, evolutionary.
Yeah, that's right.
Rick, what you are eating? So tempting.
Oh,
Oh,
hamburger? Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
oh! You
Hamburger.
muted.
Cooking while I was talking, a hamburger patty.
All right. Mm. Cool.
Lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, the Mongols. I mean, when the days of Genghis Khan, they were all they only ate horse meat. Like that's all they ate basically. And they were all
Mm.
big. They were pretty much invincible compared to all the other slaves eating plants and so on.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, and they're still big people today, the Mongols. So
Yes, that's why many of the Japanese professional sumo wrestlers are coming from Mongol.
yeah, that's right.
They were,
Yeah,
yeah, strong. And then
yeah,
mentally stronger Japanese young men
yeah,
for obvious
yeah.
reason.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
And they're usually leaner as well. Yeah, they're
Ah,
a little
yeah,
bit,
they're
fair
not a
bit
fat.
leaner than
They
the
are not
Japanese.
just a fat.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when I was over there too. Like some of all the best sumo wrestlers over there at the time were all Mongol. Yeah, and they were
Mm.
much leaner than the Japanese sumos. So
Oh, yes. It is true. They are more masculine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch sumo much, but yeah, I sort of kept up with that sort of stuff. It was always on the news, so yeah. Why can't Japanese beat the Mongols? You know.
Yes.
Hey, Jonathan's in the house. How you doing, my man? Yeah, there's a lot to be said for the way people develop their eating habits, I suppose, and you know, again, like out of starvation and things like that. I mean, like in Mongol, like it's largely like you got the Gobi Desert and things like that. There's nowhere you can grow crops. Not so like they rely on meat. They have to. They got no choice. So, yeah, just wake up. Well, you're welcome to join us if you want to kill some time. Get back to sleep, mate. Yeah. So, so what are you guys thinking about? I mean, in terms of your lifestyle and the way the economy is going now, are you still happy with the carnivore diet? You're not going to make any changes to.
Well, what change can I make? This is the only thing that really works for me. I have to do it. Otherwise, what would I be doing? Waddling around, quacking, be unhappy. I'm just used to it. If I can't afford the meat in the store, I'll have to hunt for some other meat. I may have to go on a seafood diet. I may have to go around every canal with a boat and get every iguana I can. But I'm not going to be eating the slave food, the duck food, because it doesn't work for me. I've tried to eat little bits of that food from time to time, and I get digestive issues within hours. And even if I don't feel good, don't sleep well. So I have to do the carnivore diet. I have no choice. My thing now is just look for a deal, stock it up, and then just eat like I normally do. You know what I tell people? Why would you change something that works? Doesn't make sense.
No, that's right. Yeah, that's right. How about you, Sammy?
The Rick's case is easy to stick to carnivore because his body tells you what to do with it. But normal carnivores, like including myself, it's easy to get seduced by the idea of, I'm gonna try non-carnivore or this, that, and ended up kind of getting a worse condition. But still, at the end of the day, everybody is different. Actually, three of us, we were categorized as hardcore carnivore. But many carnivore, right, yeah, apparently, because we've been doing this for years and years. Yeah, I have seen many people who have tried carnivore, not getting result, and then ended up giving up in the carnivore, partially maybe due to the financial reason. But second reason is a lack of varieties and difficulty of the social occasions. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that.
No, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why people give up on the carnivore diet. I mean, because they don't. Well, I think it largely is that they don't actually do it properly. They don't actually do the carnivore diet. Like a lot of people will start the carnivore diet thinking that anything that's meat is okay, and that's all that it is. It's just meat. They don't think about and dairy stuff, and they don't think about like other ingredients as well. They do have still processed foods and things like that as well.
One more thing though I forgot to mention is that many social influencers have recognized that significant the power of carnivore diet. They say that carnivore works for like a neurodegenerative disease people, then or like autoimmune diseases and stuff. But it's not for long time usage. Got to be the short time. They clearly mention this. That is why people think that I can't do it. It's gonna harm me.
Yeah,
that could be the one.
I mean, there's all sorts of reasons. I mean, like there's some of these big influencers too. They have no idea what they're talking about for one, but they come up with some crazy crap too, like batshit crazy, recipes, like it's carnivore, right? It's just one ingredient. It's just meat, seafood or dairy or so on, and even dairy, like adults should avoid. But when they start looking for recipes like desserts and stuff like that, I think that's one of the biggest reasons why people fail is because they think, oh, it was the same as the keto trend, like the keto started coming out with all these keto snacks and stuff like that. And that happens when every trend, right? Because food companies want to keep up with the food trends and they manipulate it, So, and then like you see on Facebook all the time too, like, keto, like carnivore cheesecake or carnivore
Ice
chocolate,
cream.
carnivore whatever. That is just
Same concept. Same concept of, Beyond Meat or Impossible Burger, isn't it?
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, probably a little bit healthier than that, but yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Right.
It just gets a bit crazy. But I think Rick, you got spot on there. Like it's duck food or slave food. Slave food is exactly what it is. You know, and like if you think about even today, right? Actually, I was watching a Japanese show on this. Actually, I don't know if I might do a translation sort of video on that maybe, but throughout history, slaves have always eaten grains. They never feed them meat because they want to keep them, sedated and weak and just keep them in their place, right? Now in El Salvador recently, they've arrested, like they've made these huge prisons recently in recent years, and they've gone and arrested all of these like gang members and so on, and all these criminals, right? So like El Salvador is really, really quite a safe place now. But there was a Japanese show, went and visited these mass prisons, and they were looking at the diet that they feed them. And all they fed them was grains and beans. That's all they gave them. They gave them these like flatbreads and salads and beans. And they specifically state the reason they don't give them any meat is because they don't want them to be strong. They want them to be weak and more subdued so that they can control them. It's slave food. It is exactly that.
Yeah, making a soy boys.
Yeah, exactly. Making soy boys. Yeah, you turn them in, change them from men into soy boys. That's exactly what they're doing.
Right. Good job.
So, just a useless anecdote. I've been 99% strict carnivore versus maybe 98% since I've been doing contest prep. Yeah, no difference in subjective metrics. There you go. I had an Oxo stock cube yesterday. Very naughty. One of my friends online was a former criminal. Now he's a carnivore coach. Oh, that's good. Jackson John, nice guy. All for men's mental health and strong attitude. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like masculinity is not toxic. Okay. It's masculinity that builds everything and really, it's not the households that have a strong father figure that have criminal children, right? It's usually the opposite, like single parent families and things like that too. So, these are the sort of things you got to weigh up as well. Like this whole toxic masculinity crap that's been going on for years now, decades actually, but it's all just complete. It's trying to produce slaves. They keep us down on the slave food and tell us that we're wrong for being men, and so on and so on.
But the interesting thing, though, is that Asian countries, including Japan and South Korea and China, guys, they want to be skinny.
Yeah,
want to be skinny like a girl.
Yeah.
I don't know, the nation of the feminization among the guys is going on. Asia is top leaders.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it is changing now, though. In Japan, I think it's getting more popular to be fit and strong.
Well, No, though.
Yeah, like depends though. Like you're right. Like when I was there,
Mhm.
it was so popular to be like thin and weak and more feminine. Like
Yes.
the girls all love these feminine boys. Like
Mhm.
if you look at J-pop, like Japanese pop music,
Mhm.
like all these singers, these little boy band groups, they're all soy boys. They're skinny as hell,
They are
and
so girls.
yeah,
They are
yeah.
girls almost.
Oh, yeah, they're prettier than most Australian women anyway.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to realize that I'm not a soy boy and I'm skinnier than all of them.
yeah, yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, I think like Rick's. I think I mean like Rick is pretty much probably what like a natural human should probably look like. Really,
Mm.
you
Mm.
know, he's tall, thin, but he's strong. You know, and he's not. He's certainly not a soy boy. Like he's not soft. You know,
No,
like
no,
these
No,
that's
soy boys,
true.
they
no,
look so
no.
soft. You know,
Mhm.
um, and you're like,
How
yeah,
many people
honestly,
could
like,
get how many people could run into a coconut tree with a bicycle and walk away or have a coconut fall on their head while hunting iguana?
yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I mean, admittedly, you're a bit closer to the top of the trees than most people, but it's it's not that big a difference.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So yeah, but I was actually I was trying to convince people of that back when I was living in Japan, like to stay away from the soy because it does turn you into soy boys, and it's like the kids that I was coaching for basketball and things like that, for example, the first in strength training, they kept complaining that I kept taking away soy from them. It's like, why do you hate soy so much? And I thought, well,
Mm.
look, I just simply told them straightly, if you want to breastfeed your children, you go ahead and eat all the soy you want, you know. But that's not something men should be doing. It's simple.
Mm, definitely. Yeah, men's boobs rampant here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't help, recognizing the men's boob holders, middle-aged men. Many of them are like that.
yeah, that's right.
I'm a little bit jealous about it. It's a joke.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, actually, in fact, I saw this in Japan. Is actually this is going back like 10 years, maybe 15 years ago, but it's actually a bit of a trend for these soy boys that actually start wearing bras. You know, did you ever
Oh,
see that?
yes! I
Yeah,
saw it. Yeah, even kind of old folks, like 50s and 60s, and they did that.
yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Because they had
Sickening.
man boobs. So they
Yeah,
started wearing bras, and
yeah.
they actually started making lines of bras to fit men in Japan.
B cups and C
Yeah,
cups.
yeah, yeah,
They were
yeah,
bragging about that. Oh my goodness. Sickening.
yeah,
Come on, Japan.
yeah.
We were so
It's
pathetic.
yeah, that was really messed up. You know, I couldn't believe it at the time. I thought this
Mm.
is more the soy. You know,
Yeah,
like,
definitely. Soy consumption in Japan is no joke.
yeah,
Many things are soy product. And previously, the maybe soy want, like a GMO soy. These days, 90% even higher are GMO. No wonder.
yeah. It all is now. Like it's 100% of it is genetically modified soy. Like even though they ferment it and they turn it into things like tofu and things like that, I mean, again, this is like we were talking about before. This is an economic reason. The only reason Japanese started using eating tofu is because at the
Mm.
time they had an energy crisis. They had no food. There was like even like after the Second War, like I know vegetards always like to hail this as Japanese like blue zone bullshit, but
That's bullshit.
um,
Yes.
that was only because they couldn't afford any
Yes.
meat that was
Yes,
there
you
at the
did. Yeah.
time.
Of course.
Yeah,
Okinawa. Yes, go on.
yeah, Okinawa, like for example, the only meat that was there at the time was used for the military.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just you're such a scam, and it's like actually some idiot actually um Bart was talking, did a reaction to some idiot this morning. Is like Popper, her name is, I think it is, Dr. Popper. Absolute moron.
Yep.
And her whole argument was built on Okinawa being a blue zone. You know, that's her whole argument. And I like, that is the worst argument you can put. Like, these blue zones are being debunked like 6 ways from Sunday, right? They're just unbelievably garbage. But even in Japan, like Okinawa usually has the worst health outcomes compared to the rest of Japan. Every year they do
deteriorating.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I mean, every year they do studies on this, like, or just anecdotal sort of studies, but still the same thing. And you know, like, Japanese love meat. You know, I mean, sure they eat a lot. But the only reason, like we're talking about this soy stuff, is again they started eating this because they were starving. They had nothing else to eat at the time, and unfortunately, it's getting more and more popular now because of ultra processed foods, for one, and because it's just been one of those things that stuck with them ever since the Second War. You know.
You know, it's funny. They talk about Japanese not eating meat. There's a place around the corner from me. It's been here for at least 40 years. It's a Shibui Steakhouse. Now that's Japanese. And then they used to have a restaurant called, I think they still have it, Benihana, which also their featured meat is steak. Every one of the Japanese restaurants I've ever been taken to or been in has always featured steak and seafood, of course, but they all love steak. So I don't know where they get this idea that Japanese people don't eat meat. That's ridiculous because every restaurant, they feature beef and seafood. They love their meat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Correct.
Exactly right. Yeah, like in Japan, honestly, they'll eat nose to tail absolutely anything that's.
Thank you very much. And
anything that's ever had a mother or a father, anything that's ever moved, they eat. And honestly, like if it hasn't moved, they'll push it just to make sure. Right?
Correct. Oh, one more thing though, in terms of the soy stuff, we have been actually eating soy for centuries. But the before the World War II, the way we ate soy is completely fermented.
Yes.
Disgustingly, smellingly fermented. Natto and soy sauce and some of the miso as well. But these days, natto and miso are coming from the soy from America. And they also the fermentation time is incredibly industrially gets shortened. That's the problem. I
yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, Japanese have been eating it for a long time because, again, they didn't have the ruminant animals available to them. But apart from that, like since the war, though, there's a GMO sort of products from overseas as well, like largely from America. The soybean industry in America is actually one of the biggest food supplying industry there is at the moment because it's in pretty much all processed foods, soy is in everything, and
because it's cheap, subsidized. So it's cheap.
It's not so cheap, but it is. It's subsidized by taxpayers, and this is the thing too. Like the only reason why processed food is so cheap to make is because it is subsidized by the taxpayers. If you took into account the land mass that is required to make these crops, the production time, the labor and everything else like that, you couldn't afford it. You couldn't afford to eat this crap. But taxpayers are paying for it. It's a complete goddamn scam.
Yeah.
Anyway. I'm glad Trump explained genders to me. I would be dreadfully confused otherwise. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you tend to get a lot of different versions of these genders. Don't get me wrong. I believe there's only 2 genders. There's only man and female. But you start feeding these xenoestrogens to boys, you get these soy boys. I think that's a breed under their own. I think these guys they tend to reproduce by what is it called? I forget, it's a scientific term. Was it? Yeah, they don't need anyone else. They just replicate themselves. You know.
Yeah.
Asexual reproduction.
Yeah, asexual reproduction. Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Somebody needs to make a video how to recognize a soy boy. What are the characteristics of a soy boy?
Yeah.
And then
I
maybe
think I have seen.
carnivore versus soy boy. Which is which?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. What was you gonna say, Sammy?
Yeah, no. I have seen it. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice one.
I walked past the trans rights rally, okay, at the train station yesterday, and it looked like a scene out of the Dark Knight. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
when I think of tranny, I think about the transmission I had that I was rebuilding. So that's when it transmission.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. They're not really changing, are they? I mean, like I don't know why they call them trans, because I mean they'd say they're transitioning, I guess, but really, I mean, yeah, the world's so fucked up at the moment. It's like there was a court ruling actually in the UK just last month. The Supreme Court in the UK, they said that they had to legally define what a woman was. So, like, a woman is someone who was born at birth as a female, right?
Mhm.
The fact that the world needed a court ruling on that is just absolutely insane. That is just what the hell has come to the world where you need a court ruling to say, oh, look, finally a woman is a woman. Who the freak didn't know that?
Yeah.
Seriously.
But this is saying that actually we shouldn't need PhDs and doctors and influencers and health guru to talk about what we should be eating. We should have known, but we got so fucked up. That's why we need that knowledge.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah, it's exactly the same,
yeah.
isn't it? It's exactly the same. Yeah, we knew we knew what to eat, hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, millions of years ago. But all of a sudden, the last 150, 200 years,
We lost it.
it's yeah, that's right. We lost it completely. Just completely fucked up. It just shows you, people are very easily programmed by these
Right.
corporations and so on.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is, I guess. And now we've got a hell of a fight to sort of get our rights back. I mean, now they're trying to take away. They're not just trying to tell us what we should eat. They're trying to take away our right to choose what we eat. That's the problem. Like,
yes.
I don't care if you want to be vegan, that's fine. That's your problem. That's your funeral. That's no skin off my nose at all. I don't care one iota. But when you start telling me that I have no choice, I have to do this, that's the problem.
Yes, agree.
They should not have the right. And it's the problem. The problem is that I mean, they've been using these dietary guidelines and all sorts of like education and like false education and so on like that to convince us that this is the right way to eat. Government government and corporations should have no say in education or nutrition.
Yeah.
They
were intertwinedly,
Yeah, they should have nothing to do with it whatsoever. So, that's why we're all so fucked up.
Yes.
Tard Nation said Dr. Gregor with a question mark. You mean not a doctor, Gregor? Yeah, he's not a doctor. He's apparently got the qualifications. He's never had a patient, but he does love to pose with a white coat and a stethoscope. Yeah. So, but I mean, at the same time, though, he's so weak. Like, even when he's wearing the coat and the stethoscope, the stethoscope's so heavy for him that you literally have to put him on a coat hanger to hold him up.
Yeah, but people and vegan people, they believe the guy.
Stethoscope.
Stethoscope.
Listen to Dr. Rick.
Doctor,
Why do you have it? Why you are having the stuff?
I have everything. You'd be surprised at the things that I have. Besides, my dad used to take his blood pressure all the time, and it was always high, and he ate healthy foods. Then he would get mad at me because my blood pressure was too low. His would be like 140 over, 80 something, and mine's 90 over 60. He says, I don't even know if you're alive. I mean, I have to check and see if you have a pulse.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Very, very funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I mean,
Mm.
they keep saying that's the thing too. They keep talking about heart disease, things like that. What's the number one cause of heart disease? High blood pressure. Right?
Exactly.
Yes.
I mean,
Incredible.
Rick, he's so calm. You have to check his pulse to make sure he's still alive.
I hear
the guy-
something.
You hear something? It's making a move.
I think it's
Is
still
that-
working.
Yeah, 2 or 3
Oh.
beats a minute. The
Okay.
guy Bart was watching
Checking,
yesterday that had
checking.
like a bag of sugar on his fruit. Made me feel that is. I mean, these people, these new idiots on this sugar diet.
Mm.
These people are absolutely insane. They think that. I mean, yeah, you can be lean on a high carbohydrate, high sugar diet. I was lean. I
Yes.
was very fit. I was very
Yes.
fit. I was very lean.
Mm.
But
Mm.
I had a severe fatty liver. I had stage 3 kidney disease, and I had stage 4 follicular lymphoma. But I
Mhm.
was fit and I was lean. But being fit and lean doesn't mean shit. All right, honestly. And when it comes to pro athletes, they don't give a rat's ass what they eat. The only thing they're worried about is their gold medal or their payday and so on like that.
They were sacrificing their health.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's what they live for.
Mhm.
But these people that are pushing this sugar diet, of course they're popular because everyone's addicted to sweet. Oh, look at this! They're fit and healthy, they're fit and lean, so I can eat like this too. So people eat their candy and fruit and all this other crap, and they think they're doing the right thing and of course they enjoy it. They feel great. They're getting that dopamine hit. I love sugar. I love sugar too. Shit,
Yeah, me
if it was
too.
all
Lovely.
about calories, I'd eat ice cream and bloody fruit all bloody day. I'd eat cookies all day.
Oh,
But that's
nice.
yeah.
I'm gonna
But
join
that's
you.
just not the way
Yeah.
it is.
That's disgusting.
I love that.
Yeah, you're right, Rick. It is disgusting.
You are
It's-
right.
it's-
Rick is always right. Too right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm right. I just hate all that stuff.
Yeah.
When I think about it, I'm thinking about a delicious steak or maybe a nice fat duck or iguana or whatever else I can find. Eat heart attack chicken. But cookies? I mean, cookies are crap. They
I
look like
know. It's a
Oh.
club, but for some
Yeah.
reason we get
Yeah, that's right.
give into it.
they taste awful. They smell worse. I can't
Is
stand
it?
them. I don't understand it. It's like bread.
Wow.
Everybody loves bread. There's a bakery
course.
down the street.
Yeah.
Everybody goes to the bakery. I walked in there one time and I felt like throwing up because there's nothing edible in the whole place. I mean, what am I going to do? If I had to eat there, I would die unless I go in the parking lot and catch a chicken. But that's it. It's just bad.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
all these
you're right.
fast food places.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right there, Dr. Rodriguez. But
Mhm.
I mean, we've grown up on this slave food, and we're still kind of addicted to it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I became a vegan kid at the age of 6.
Yeah.
My brain was completely hijacked with carbohydrates,
absolutely, yeah.
especially processed one.
Yeah, that's a problem, isn't it? And I totally get why these people love the idea of the sugar diet. I mean, shit,
I would love
wouldn't?
that.
Yeah. But
Why not?
they're absolutely. I mean, the people pushing it though, they are dangerous idiots. They are absolutely dangerous
That
idiots.
is misinformation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could not bring myself to eat the sugar diet because I'd probably throw up trying to get the stuff down and then I'd have diarrhea. And let me tell you, even natural fruit, if I eat the wrong ones, let's say that I was to eat a mango, it has a really bad effect on me. It does several things. First of all, I start to feel like I'm going to throw up when I'm halfway through the mango. After I eat the mango, then all of a sudden you just feel like strange. It feels like, I don't know, it's just weird. And then in about an hour, the energy just goes, I mean, I just feel like crap. Like, this is awful. And then I usually get diarrhea or something after that.
Well, it's the
Terrible.
fructose. Yeah, it's the fructose. Like fructose, it goes, through like your GLUT5 transport straight to your liver. Like it starts making fatty liver triglycerides, right, which gets into your bloodstream, crosses the blood-brain barrier, causes things like dementia and everything like that. So it gives you that brain fog. That's what fructose, especially, is what gives you that brain fog. But then you've got other things, the fact that fructose also depletes ATP, which means that you're going to be lower in energy. That's why you get that energy drain. It depletes your ATP production.
And it's even worse than that, because then you don't even feel like doing anything. Normally after I eat my lunch, for example, if I have my beef or my chicken or whatever, I'll sit down for a little bit and I'll go outside or I'll go to work and I just start working and I work my way through the day. But if I was to eat fruit, I don't feel it. They say, well, the sugar gives you energy, but it doesn't for me. After I eat the fruit, you feel like you want to do something, but then you don't do it. You procrastinate, and I'll sit there and then I'll find something else to do. I'll go and turn on the computer, or I'll just do nothing. And then the energy just, goes down. And then maybe in another hour, I'm thinking, man, I'd love to have a steak. Then I'll have the steak. And then it's the opposite. You have the steak, and then you feel like getting up. It's like, wow, I'm way behind. And then I forgot to do this and I forgot to do that. And I'll go through the papers and I'll go through whatever I have to do. And the energy comes back. So, and I did this just to prove to my vegan friends. I said, well, if you ate fruit on a regular basis, you'd be healthier. But every time I try to eat fruit, and it's not store-bought fruit, natural, organic fruit from my own yard, cleanest fruit you can imagine, and it still has a bad effect. So
yeah, of course
no one can explain that.
Well, yeah,
But
you
the,
can
the,
actually. I mean, like I said, like that. It gives you that brain fog. That's why you forget things. You forget to get things done. It depletes your ATP, but fructose especially also inhibits your electrolyte uptake. So you feel tired because you're not getting those electrolytes anymore. Plus you've got the fiber effect and other things. There's nothing in fruit or any sugars that the body can use that has a positive effect. But
it is correct. It is correct. Biochemically speaking, fructose or fruits aren't our, healthy food. Yet, when you type down the healthy food, anti-cancer or anti-whatever, the aging, whatever, always fruits and vegetable comes up. Never you see that meat. And the reason is because we want to justify to eat the fruits which is going to good for you. Once you find this, like a result from the Google algorithm think, oh, you want to believe that fruits and vegetables. That's why you scroll just a good aspect on fruits and vegetables, especially fruits. That annoys me because people keep saying that, hey, Sammy, fruits have antioxidants and this, that, and I have to fight over it. I'm sick and tired of it.
Yeah, it's absolute bullshit. And actually, Eddie did a good video on this this sugar stuff just a couple of days ago. Actually, Eddie Goki, he's good on that. But they keep saying they keep touting these antioxidant sort of benefits of fruit. But apart from all the chemicals that you buy that you get in these fruit, like I'm talking about crops and things like that, which are just absolutely rancid and toxic. Even if you had a good clean fruit, like Rick was saying, you grow it at home in your yard, like I'm doing as well. Even if you eat that stuff, it oxidizes in your system anyway. It actually causes more oxidation in your blood. So that there is zero benefit of eating fruit. Doesn't matter how clean it is. And honey is the same. Honey is 40. Even if you have a perfectly clean, naturally organic honey, 42% of that is fructose.
Yeah.
So
just when you put the sugar or honey or fruit, you become a little bit happier. That's it, and it goes down.
Dopamine,
Happiness ends. Happiness ends.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, when you get like a glucose hit, right, you get a bit of a dopamine hit.
Yeah.
Fructose doesn't really give you that dopamine reaction, but it does give you that that it gives you it sort of hits that what is it called? I think it was called
Serotonin?
like the reward response in your brain. You get like a
Dopamine?
reward response. Yeah, not like dopamine. It's a
Not
little
dopamine.
similar to dopamine, but not
Okay.
exactly the same. But similar to dopamine hit. Yeah, you get that sort of reward response reaction into your brain. But that's part of forming that brain fog. But this is why these fruitarians and vegetarians and vegans, they're all so fucked in their heads because they've got that brain fog, going through their
Just like alcohol, isn't it? Alcohol numbs you.
Alcohol does the same thing, yeah. So really, it's a big problem. It can be a big problem if you're eating like this stupid snake diet and sugar diet. What the hell are these people thinking? Seriously.
I got a question, and I've been wondering this for a long time. I've noticed that everyone that's addicted to something, whether it's drugs, alcohol, smoking, whatever, they all eat a high sugar diet. Now, is it the high sugar diet that makes people more likely to be addicted, or is it that people that have the tendency to be addicted are going to gravitate towards that high sugar diet? Because in my case, I've never been addicted to anything. I mean, there's nothing that I'm addicted to. Yeah, I like to eat meat all the time, but it's not an addiction. I can change different types of meats. I don't have to eat at a certain time. But people are addicted to sodas. Everybody I know is addicted to something. Sometimes it's just chewing gum. It's always these little things. Coffee. A lot of people are addicted to coffee. Okay, I know a lot of carnivores drink coffee, but I don't like any of those things. So is it because maybe I don't even know if I can know for sure if I was born to be a carnivore or it's just from all the years of eating the carnivore diet, I just don't care for anything else. So I don't know if there's any research or anybody knows about that.
It's a good question, Dr. Rick. I mean, there's a lot of testimonies before, like even like Carnivore Cure Todd, like he said, like he's given up a lot of addictions because of carnivore diet.
Right.
And I think when you're addicted to one thing, it's easier to become addicted to many other things. And you look at I did a short video on this. There's a French study came out, I think it was last year or the year before, but talking about the addictiveness of sugar, and they had like heroin addicted rats in a lab, and in one day they started feeding them. They gave them a choice of sugar water or heroin hit, and 98% of them went to the sugar water immediately, overnight. No transition at all. Overnight, they went from heroin to sugar for addiction. So in that result, it's just a rat study, doesn't mean much, but still, it showed that sugar is far more addictive than even drugs like heroin. So, and I think it's far easier, like you said, like to be once you're addicted to one thing, and we are pretty much raised on sugar from the time we are born. People are trying to feed us, flavored milks and cereal,
fruit juice,
fruit juice and stuff like that. And then when you have those addictions, other addictions are going to be much easier for you to take on as well.
But I think yeah, you're right. But I think that still there is a disproportion of your genes and addictive tendency. The folks that get hooked to any substance on top of that, sugar is one of the most addictive substances on this planet, and on top of that, the drug dealers are everywhere. Even this neighborhood, several drug dealer shops are available for sugar addict. Many layers of the ubiquitousness of the whatever it is.
Yeah, that's right. It's the most. It is the most pushed sort of drug out there. Sugar, there's candy shop. Every shop you go to, there's supermarket, everything like that. It's everywhere. Convenience stores. It's absolutely everywhere. So.
Oh, doctor's office, free
yes,
available.
Dentist.
Dentists, yeah, like even dentists will give like
Oh, yes.
a candy to a kid who's been good, like after
That's all.
their
Kind
teeth
of.
That's to
exam.
make sure they come back for more business. I figured that out as
Oh,
a
I
kid.
see.
I even
Yeah,
told the dentist, I'll never forget, why do you have candy? He says, oh, it's a treat. I said, that's so they'll come back and you'll get more business. And he looked at me because I was a kid, he thinking, this kid is, he didn't know what to say. They always had the little lollipops, and then they
yeah,
had the little striped candies always there at the dentist office. But
yeah.
then
All
again,
the
I don't
hard
know.
candy.
Yeah, the hard
Yeah,
candy. But the last time I went to a dentist was in 1986, so I don't know what they have now. But I have friends that are having so many problems with their teeth. They've had root canal, they've had replacements, veneers, and kids that had braces, and I haven't had any of that. And I've never had a tooth problem. My teeth don't hurt. They have to get a cleaning. They tell me, well, you should get a cleaning once a year. I said, for what? Why am I going to clean my teeth? They're not that dirty. I mean, I don't think they look dirty. They're not stained or anything. And but what about plaque? I don't get plaque. Oh, that can't be. So I don't feel any. I mean, I go there and I feel around and it feels clean. So
yeah,
I don't know. And I don't even use toothpaste. I don't even use fluoride. I'm drinking
yeah.
well water and rainwater. There's no fluoride in the water. And I'm just using lard, baking soda and lard to brush my teeth. And the
Wow.
gums, I've injured my gums from eating. I was eating an iguana one time and the bone went right into it and I pulled it out and it bleeds. But in a few days, it was normal, and no problem. And I know people, they bite like a seed or something and they get it in their gums and it hurts and they have to go to the dentist to get it extracted and no dentist. So they say, well, Rick, you don't go to the doctor and you don't go to the dentist. You can drop dead at any time. And I said, that's exactly what I want. I want to drop dead quick. It's over with and that's it. I don't have to worry.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to
Beautiful,
live in a nursing
beautiful.
home.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Now,
And
These
they say,
days,
well,
yeah,
they
I
say
go.
my
that
teeth
poor
have really
oral health.
improved, actually.
They say that if you don't take care of your teeth, you're going to have heart disease. I said, well, maybe it's the other way around. Maybe the people that have heart disease don't have good circulation, and then they have trouble with their mouth. It's not
Yeah.
so much that you got to clean your mouth all the time so you don't get heart disease. It's more like a person that has heart disease is unhealthy, and they're going to have other problems because they try to use that excuse. Well, your dental health, affects your other health. I said, no, I think it's the other way around. But what do I know?
No, I think so too, Rick. Yeah. I mean, my teeth have really improved since being on carnivore diet. Like I lost after years of chemotherapy, it really damages the bone marrow's ability to produce platelets and blood cells. So I lost 3 teeth during after the chemotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't lost anything since going
See?
carnivore. Like my teeth are much better, much stronger now. So I don't have any fillings or anything like that. So yeah, it's much better. I was going to get some of these comments, guys. I remember Joe Rogan telling a story about some woman whose kid felt and identified as a cat. Oh, yeah, I remember that. And therefore requested litter boxes to be in school because she could not share a bathroom. Wow.
Is it a true story or someone made it up?
No, it's true story, Sammy.
Wow.
But see,
That's
this
funny.
is the thing, right? We should not capitulate to someone else's mental illness, right? We don't, I mean, if they want to identify as a cat, that's fine. Identify as a cat. You be a cat. I don't give a rat's ass. But don't expect me to treat you like a cat. Right? Don't expect me to, wipe your ass or, give you a kitty litter box or pat you on the head. That's not going to happen. All right? Just because you say you're a woman doesn't mean I'm going to treat you like one. Right?
Yeah.
So,
Same logic apply to LGBT, QP, XYZ. I don't mind your sexual orientation, but you don't need to let us know. I'm not gonna, hey, given that this is the first time, then I'm go, hey, my name is Sammy. I'm a lesbian. I'm vegan. We don't need to tell people that your sexual orientation or dietary intervention. I'm not gonna tell people I'm carnivore.
What I want to know is what are you proud of? What have you done that's worth being proud? Having this pride stuff like.
Mhm.
Who cares what you do in the bedroom? No one does. No one cares what you do in the bedroom. Okay, as long as you're not doing it. I mean, as long as it's with a consenting adult, that's fine. Right? But I don't care. I don't come on video and tell everyone what I do in bed. Why would you do that? It's just
But
insane to me.
these people are very vocal, very vocal.
Yeah, it's like they're it's popular to be part of the group, you know. It's all just
Dr. Gregor.
yeah. Dr. Gregor needs to hold on to the sides when he's doing yeah, exactly right. Yeah, high speed on a bike with Dr. Baker breaks records. Yeah, I mean that's a really good example, right? I mean, Gregor, he's younger than I am. All right.
Is it?
And, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. He's just. I think he's just turned 52. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, he's a few months younger than I am, but I mean, seriously, the dude looks like he loses an arm wrestle to a fork, and he's like, he's
Yeah, I thought the
walking like,
Dr. Gundry age, I thought.
Yeah.
no,
I thought
he's
so
only,
too.
he's not. No, it's not even close. And I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
honestly, like his books, like How Not to Die, like that, like anyone's been able to avoid that ever. All right, How Not to Age. I mean, it
That's the
should be
good
like,
one.
yeah. I mean, the book, honestly, it should be like how to lose an arm wrestle to a fork. I mean, seriously, the dude is so weak. Like he can't even hold his head up properly.
Hey, it looks like a
No.
bobblehead.
He does. It's always, you notice he's always doing this. It's always
Yeah,
bobbling,
yeah,
like
yeah,
always bouncing. Yeah, because his neck's so weird.
Yep.
He's
Unstable.
going like 2 kilometers an hour on the treadmill. Like seriously, and people believe that crap. I mean, it's unbelievable. Talk about brain fog. My God, you can be lean on any diet. Yeah, exactly. You can. But you can be healthy on. You can't be healthy on any diet. Exactly. That's right. You can be lean. You can be lean on the standard American diet, and
Yeah.
you can be light. You can be lightweight too. Right? It doesn't mean that you're strong, and it doesn't mean that you're healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, when I
Mhm.
was a vegan, I was skinny, but I had a lot of skin tags. There you go.
Mm.
I was insulin resistant, very skinny.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you think about like these vegans think that they're healthy because they're thin, right? Like even that debate that we did with Bart and the Victoria woman. Like, she thinks she's good looking and she's slim, but you can see. I mean, granted, she has children, and there are other things going on there, but you can see she's not healthy. I mean, just because you're thin doesn't mean that you're healthy. Like
No.
I think someone like that should do a DEXA scan or something. They should check their bone density, and I think they should check, like their organ fat, because organ fat builds up really easily without showing signs externally.
Yeah.
So you
That's
can
why
do a
Asian.
lot of damage
Yeah.
before it actually starts. You can do a lot of damage to your body before it actually starts to manifest, like in other ways, like externally.
Yeah. That is why Asian population or Asian descendants, we look skinny, but our type 2 rate is much higher than a Caucasian, descendant.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like the diabetic rate in Japan, like since the 90s, has increased, incredibly.
Yes.
Like
Skyrocketing.
yeah, it's.
But we
it's
are skinny. We are skinny all the time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Vast majority. I mean, like there's only like 4%, I think it is, obese in Japan.
Somewhere around, I can't find obese
It's
people.
really low. Yeah, really low percentage actually obese. But the health that I mean, it's not, the diabetes and other things, heart disease and things like that have really climbed. And I think a lot of that's to do with like the implementation, bringing in seed oils and things like that. They started because the Japanese love a lot of deep fried food, and
Yes.
it used to be that was fine when it was in tallow.
Not
They used
taro.
to, yeah, up until the 80s, it was all cooked in tallow.
Hmm.
But since the 90s, now it's all these seed oils and machine oils and so on. So
I love deep fried foods.
yeah, me too.
Everybody.
Yeah, yeah. As long as it's deep fried in tallow or lard or something, it's good.
It's the
But
only way to do it.
yeah, absolutely. I heard some places in America now they've gone back to using tallow. I think it was like Chick-fil-A, is it?
Oh, actually, I've been hitting the dumpster over at Chick-fil-A to see what they have, and it's a mix. It's not actually beef tallow. It's some kind of hydrogenated mix of tallow and some kind of seed oil. It's
Ah.
not
Okay.
pure tallow.
All right. All right. That's good information. Really, you should tell them that.
Well, I'm gonna try to get one of the boxes. It's just I saw it when it came in. The Chick-fil-A's down the street. I go by there when I go to Harbor Freight. They're usually closed on Sunday. It rained today. I didn't go anywhere. But next time I go on a Sunday, I'll check the recycle area. They throw out the boxes that it comes in. It comes in a box. It's like a solid, but it's a mix of tallow and some other hydrogenated. I forget. I looked at it. It said partially hydrogenated something and tallow. I mean, beef tallow. It wasn't pure. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
have a question. Why they started to add or try to kind of change that, the vegetable oil to tallow because of the health consciousness?
Well,
What
yeah.
why is that?
I mean, it's like if you following like RFK Jr. and things like that, like he's actually highlighting a lot of
Oh,
the damage that seed oil
I
has caused.
see.
And at the moment, the health trend is trending towards eating more natural foods like carnivore diet and things like that. So they think that they're getting out ahead of it, and they're being part of the trend of what people want. But as usual, it looks like they're doing it the cheapest possible way, and mixing with these seed oils and stuff like that. And it's all bullshit. It's all smoke and mirrors.
It's interesting because 20 years ago, the Heart Attack Grill started using lard, and they did it because they wanted it to be as unhealthy as possible. So they use butter, lard, the fattiest burgers. You have burgers with 4 patties, and I looked at that. I go, your quadruple bypass burger looks exactly like my heart attack burger, except they use bread, and I use worse pork rinds and cheese and eggs to make the buns. But that's what they were doing. So at that time, if you were using lard or tallow, you were unhealthy. You're trying to kill the people with the food. Now they go, oh, the seed oils are bad. It's just like they were spraying glyphosate on all of the oats and a lot of the wheat to dry it out. Now it's a big deal. Well, you don't want to use that anymore. And then now you have the companies that sell the poison trying to use propaganda telling people that it's going to make it too expensive to farm if we don't use glyphosate. So it's like a health halo. And it really is ironic because when I was a kid, McDonald's used to fry their potatoes in beef tallow. They always did. Then in the 1980s, they switched to vegetable oil. And then they put all those additives to try to make it taste better. And now people are going back. It's like Five Guys. Five Guys, I think, was using peanut oil for the fries. And then what is the other one? Buffalo Wild Wings, I think, uses tallow for their chicken wings. And I believe they use real tallow because a friend of mine that worked there, he told me that it actually came in big boxes. It was wrapped in plastic and it had no ingredients list on it. So I think that actually is beef tallow. I don't know.
Cool.
Yeah, it might be a good thing to look into.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be something good to check out, because a lot of people think, like these Chick-fil-A or these big other chains, they're going back to tallow. Like I heard even one McDonald's franchise went back to using tallow recently as well. But if that's not what they're actually using, But if that's not what they're actually using, then people should know that.
Yeah.
And actually, I was just thinking about we were talking about addiction there before. Grains. It's not just sugar that's addictive. Grains are addictive. Have a
yeah.
look at. I mean, breads. Talking about bread. You go past the bakery, damn, that smells good. And bakeries are full of all these, cream buns and everything else that you have, like here in Australia, cakes
Yep.
and stuff like that. That stuff is highly addictive.
It's disgusting.
There is a kind of a
You're right, Rick.
opioid something. I can't
Yeah.
explain clearly, but there is a kind of a very addictive nature of the wheat. And on top of that, since to increase the output, they kind of chose the dove wheat, which has
Yeah.
more opioid-ish molecule in it. That's what I heard.
Plus, I mean, every grain that's growing now is genetically modified as well. One for growth and two for more addiction later on and things like that. So, there's just nothing that grows like that in our diet is natural today. And most of it's if you think about like highly processed foods, so you've got these genetically modified crops to start as a base, but then you've got all these flavorings. They say low calorie sort of flavorings and sweeteners and things like that, which are petroleum based. Okay. And then you got the flavorings, which are also petroleum based, and the colorings, which are also usually petroleum based.
Yeah, and marketing as well. They say things like a whole grain, heart healthy bread or whatever. Even these days, they kind of started to promote the low carb bread. I don't know whatever ingredients goes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like I said, like they follow the trends, right? And they try and infiltrate those trends. But it's the same with keto, and now they're trying to do the same crap with carnivore. But and the advertisings, like if you've got this professional athlete say, "Oh, look, this drink is great," or "This food is great," I eat this, and all this. It's total bullshit. They don't. But how many millions of people go and say, "Oh, well, they're a fit athlete, they're a professional athlete. If I eat this, I can be like them too." It's like those was that those two, I don't know if they were footballers, there was those twins athletes in America, and they started mixing this bullshit cereals like the Fruit Loops and stuff like that, and started telling people eat cereal. That's what we did all our whole life and all this sort of stuff. It's a complete goddamn scam.
Marketing.
Well,
Marketing to kids.
When I was a kid, they always said, "Eat your Wheaties." And then I don't know if you remember Bruce Jenner that was in the Olympics. He advertised cereal, and look at what happened. So we joked about him. He said he went from Wheaties to Fruit Loops because that's what he is now. He's a Fruit Loop.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, think about it, right? He was at the time. He was categorized the world's greatest athlete. All right, Bruce Jenner. Then he married into the Kardashians, which is like a overly estrogen sort of surrounded sort of, environment. But have a look at his diet. Have a look at he's talking about your Wheat Bix and all these cereals and things like that. And he's gone from the world's greatest athlete to the world's most famous fucking soy boy tranny, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's like it's beyond meat. It's what it is. It's beyond woman.
No. Would you rather eat Wheaties and turn into that, or would you rather eat steak and turn into Dr. Sean Baker?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly right. It's what's sad is though, actually I had some people over here last night, my cousins, and they've recently had a young baby, and they were bragging about the fact that their baby is now 1 year old, and he ate 3 Wheat Bix blocks for breakfast. like that's a good thing, you know. It's a sad thing, you know, that people think that cereal is a healthy breakfast for a baby, a growing baby. And they listed all the food that he eats through the day, and not one bit of it was natural. It was all carbohydrates, you know. Yeah, it's really sad. It's really sad.
Well, but then
But you
again, they
can't
say
tell.
you have to have carbohydrates. That's what is that guy, Durian Ryder? That's another
Oh,
funny vegan guy. So
what
I
an
told a
idiot.
friend of mine, I said, he's a durian rider. I'm the iguana rider.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. So, but by the way, you guys, I'm leaving. I have. Oh, there is a something. Sami-san, Riku no Hanamasa. Oh, I don't go to Riku no Hanamasa. I just normally go to the local supermarket to support the local business. Okay, I answered this question. Thank
Cool.
you. So I'm leaving. Thank you very much for invitation today. Talk to you
No
guys soon.
worries, Sammy. Good to
All
see you,
right.
Alrighty.
mate. You
Thank you.
take
Bye
it easy.
bye. Yeah.
Bye-bye,
Bye.
Sammy. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing too. Like, just have a look at the results of these people, right? Like that one Bart K was doing this morning. Look at that Pam Popper. I mean, is that
Yeah.
is that a real name, Pam
I
Popper?
was wondering about that.
You know, seriously, wouldn't you change it? I would, but
I was
you know,
trying to figure out what her age was. I figured she must be 65 or something.
I think she's late 60s,
Yeah.
almost 70. Yeah. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, for that age these days, that's not too bad, really. But
hmm
I mean, she looks so frail though, and she looks,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, the soy boy looked better than her.
yeah. Well, he was pretty, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
He's prettier than
but,
her.
yeah. But you know, she's got a lot of years on her.
Well,
So
that's it. How much of that vegan crap can you eat and still look halfway decent?
yeah, that's right. You know, so yeah, I mean, you can only do it. You can only get away with a bad diet for so long. You know, and
Right.
I keep saying to people like it's amazing how resilient your body is. Like it really is incredible. It is an amazing machine. It is such. I think it's not just about recovering, being able to recover from things like cancer and like Sammy. She had stage 4 prostate
hmm
cancer, right, on a vegan diet, mind you.
See?
And now she's been managing it quite well and symptom free now on the
hmm
carnivore
hmm
diet.
And yet the
And she did
vegans
that.
say meat gives you cancer. Right.
Yeah, that's right. And she's done that without treatment, right? She only had a limited amount of treatment to start with.
Wow.
So she's done really well. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like I mean, most people here know my stories too, so I don't need to go into
Yep.
that. But
Yep.
then you have these people telling you that fat causes cancer, that meat causes cancer, and like,
Right.
and then you look at them and you think, do you not have a mirror? Do you not have any sort of self-reflection? Like, because honestly, like they can't distinguish the difference. They can't see their health issues as being a problem, and
Right.
you know they've got it. You know they've got health issues.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it. You can see they've got health issues. You know, and like I said before, like it takes a long time before internal damage will actually manifest externally. You know, it takes a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But they just don't get it. And like I said again, that doesn't bother me, honestly. If that's what they want to do, that's fine. But they don't have the right to tell us or to take away our choices. You know, and that's where the issue is. So, but the fact that they work so hard to try and convince people that their diet is the way that we should eat, that's a problem too, because you're still taking away people's choice. You're convincing them that this is the right way to eat for health and longevity. and it's not. Like, I still can't get over the fact that people actually listen and think there's any substance to this sugar diet that people keep going on about. That, I mean, that's really exploded recently. It's everywhere now. Like, people talking about the sugar diet. You have to be kidding me. Seriously? In all honesty, like, people are just lying to themselves because they want to eat sugar. Yeah. And that's all it is. They can't possibly think that's healthy.
You'd be
It's actually,
surprised.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, that's true. You know, people they do surprise you, don't you? Like, in the negative form at times. But you know, there's some idiot come up with a video like the surprising benefits or something, the myth of sugar or something, and they're talking about that. That, I think in the title was that sugar was a powerful antioxidant, but they never mentioned it once in the video. Seriously? An antioxidant?
Well,
There's
you
zero
know,
nutrient.
if sugar is an antioxidant, why does it work so well in explosives? I've made several homemade explosives using sugar as a fuel source. So
Yeah,
if it's an antioxidant, it shouldn't work as an explosive ingredient. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
yeah, that's right. Flour is the same. You can make
Yes, it is.
explosions with flour. You know, flour is very flammable.
Yeah, you could just blow it into a fire and it goes whoosh. You know,
Yeah,
it's like a fireball.
yeah, that's right. And yet they think that there's nothing wrong with, you know, eating these flammable ingredients.
That's right. Well, that's it.
So,
I mean, you
and they
can, you
wonder why
can,
they get gas.
yeah, exactly. But then they keep saying, well, fat makes you fat. Okay.
Yeah,
You can tell yourself that all you want, but yet you're the one that's always having to worry about gaining weight. And I can eat whatever I want and I never gain weight. Oh, you're different. You have a high metabolism. Well, you tell me why. And they've said all those years, you just wait till you get to be in your 40s. Wait till you get to be in your 50s. Look, I'll be 57 next month. I'll be in my 60s before you know it. And they'll be telling me the same thing. When one of these days you're going to put on a lot of weight, and it hasn't happened. Everybody else I know has. All those guys that worked out were in great shape when they're younger. They're all fat now. I'm the only one that's still skinny. So, and I don't eat a very little. I eat a lot. I eat a lot of meat. I eat a high fat diet. And here I am.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. I'm not worried about calories or macros or anything like that at the moment. I just eat a fatty meal and I feel good, you know. And it's done wonders for me, you know. So I hear that kid telling me it's going to cause me cancer. Like, are you serious? Right? Seriously? Like, I've already got it. It's not like it's going to give me more.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
like, seriously? Anything else like a heart attack? Bring it on, mate. Bring it on. Oh well. Yeah. I mean, it's just their arguments are just beyond ridiculous. Yeah. And this they're so ignorant. It's incredible. You know. And I mean, I know we all have our ignorances, but when they're in this space and they claim to be experts, and their ignorance is that bad, like that's just ridiculous. You still beating?
Oh, yeah, it's still going. Sounds good, actually. I have to double check because, they say a heart attack could come on suddenly without symptoms. So I got to make sure that I know I'm having a heart attack.
Yeah, you should check every 20 minutes or so just to make sure. I mean, it could happen at any time.
Yeah.
Crazy.
all that meat and all that high fat, it's going to kill you. I mean, first of all, it's going to make you fat. Oh, and then they say it's going to give you diabetes because eating a lot of meat gives you diabetes. Well,
Yeah.
that's very strange. So I try to
Yeah.
ask them, I said, well, what are the symptoms of diabetes? Well, you have to drink a lot of water. You have to urinate a lot. You feel tired. I'm like, okay, well, I haven't had any of those symptoms yet. So I guess I'll
Yeah.
just have to let you know what I do.
One of these crazy ideas too is like they talk about like the diabetes, fat causes diabetes and because of insulin starvation. I'm like, where the hell did that come from? Like, who thought of that stupid crap? Like, that's like I've never even come across that in anything in literature wise. Like, it's just some idiot just made it up out of thin air, and they just go with it. Right? It's crazy. Absolutely
Nothing
not.
makes sense.
No, it
But
doesn't. That's the way it is. The way of the world, I guess. And you got Bruce is now Jenna, Caitlin.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
And we needed a court case like that, Supreme Court in the UK, to say a woman is girl born at birth, sort of thing. Well, obviously the world is just completely upside down at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Just
That's
gone
right.
batshit crazy. Yeah.
I don't even know how they think they can keep the world going with people like that. I don't know.
No, that's right. How can any economy like continue to make, or any culture for that matter, make progress in any way, shape, or form if you got that kind of mentality, that kind of stupid mentality, being the biggest voice out there, being the one that's actually being pushed by the media and everything like that. You got to wonder how when you talk about there's people who identify as different things, right? Like the cat, for example. But this was I actually saw this on a UK news program that interviewed this young girl who was obviously confused, but she called herself gender fluid because she would, whatever she felt like in the morning when she woke up, that's what she was, right? And they kept, what got me is that this reporter and her parent, they actually kept a straight face while they were talking to this girl. How do you do that? How do you, I mean, like, how good an actor are you that you can sit there across from someone who thinks that badly and keep a straight face and not laugh at them and say, you're on drugs?
That's true.
So, I don't know how they do it, but there you go. Sammy had prostate cancer? Question mark. Yes, yeah, she did. About 4 years ago. Hang on a second. Just had something pop up there. Okay, yeah, about 4 years ago, Sammy was diagnosed with very high stage 4 prostate cancer. Okay.
I didn't even know women had that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as common as men, but it does happen, and certainly if you've been on a vegan diet since you were 6 years old, overworked prostate and colon and so on. And all you're eating is sandpaper. But yeah, Sammy, I mean, I've got the full interview with Sammy. You can check in the Stories of Healing podcast. Okay, go check out that playlist. But she had a small operation and she started treatments, but the advice that, I mean, the doctors started fighting with her because she actually started the carnivore diet, and then she just decided to stop going back to the hospital, but she's been doing great and getting and improving ever since. So yeah, she's done really well, actually. She's very brave, actually, to do that, just take it on herself and just go straight carnivore and high fat diet. And yeah, but apparently fat causes prostate cancer. So there you go. Sorry, Sammy, you're wrong. Actually, I'm going to be doing a video on that this week. Stay tuned for that, because I'm going to prove that the carnivore diet doesn't work and we're all just delusional. So yeah, stay tuned for that one. Yeah. Yeah, seriously. I mean, if you have a look at all the testimonies, right? Look at Dave Mack's channel, right? He's done like 300 something interviews now, people who have cured or managed something on the carnivore diet. But even people that I've spoken to, actually, I'm speaking to another good one, this week, who I've already spoken to before, Andrew Scarborough. He's a great kid. He was diagnosed about the same time as me with a brain tumor, and he's still going now. He's studying cancer biology. He's doing a doctorate in cancer biology at the moment.
Nice.
He's got masters in nutrition and everything like that. But when you get glioblastoma, that's a death sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been 13 years for him now. So and he actually last month he did a marathon on a carnival diet. So very cool, very cool. So stay tuned for that one, guys, because I'll be catching up with him again this week on Wednesday, and I'll put his interview up this week. So yeah, well worth watching. You can actually see his first interview with me too, and the stories of healing.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's a relief. I hadn't ever realized women had a prostate. Yeah, women can have prostate cancer too. So, almost Rick.
That's right.
I'd rather for death, not in the not in the germ ward. Yeah, exactly. I'd rather die at home or out on the street or in the gym. That was one of my motivators actually when I got back into the gym. It was like, I didn't care. I would rather push myself as hard as I could and have a heart attack in the gym while lifting something, heavy, rather than being stuck in bed and just wasting away staring at the ceiling all day.
Mm-hmm.
And when that was happening, like at 40 years old, that's too young to be doing that. I just it's crazy. That's not the way people should be living, or it's not even living. It's not the way people should be. People should be healthy. They should be strong. They should be outside. They should be doing stuff. Like living like Rick. Chasing car park chicken and stuff like that. Getting real food.
Duck eggs.
Duck eggs, and if you took an average person right now, right, like an average standard Western diet person, they wouldn't catch a chicken in the car park.
No.
Chickens are
but
fast.
I can.
Chickens
I catch them. I get them every time.
Never underestimate a hungry Rick. He's fast.
That's it. I got a net. I got one of those regular size nets, and I go running after them, and I go sideways and back, and then, next thing you know, I've got one, and then I can stuff it in the bag and bring it home.
That's great. Yeah. I think it's amazing that you've actually got wild chickens out there.
Yeah. Well, it's a city. There's not many predators. And then on top of that, the weather's always hot here. So the chickens, they can survive. There's a lot of insects. There's a lot of cockroaches and beetles and all kinds of things running around. Not so much this time of the year, but once the rainy season comes, then that's when the chickens start breeding. And you can have 100 chickens running around in a parking lot behind the shopping center. A lot of chickens.
That's a lot, yeah. That's incredible. Oh man.
Once they start hatching, they're everywhere. But they're not really big chickens. They're small chickens, but they're still tasty.
Well, there are a couple of big chicken breeds, but like most chickens are fairly small. Like unless they're being fed on the grains, like the hormones and stuff like that big chicken farms feed them. So that I think that they're usually a more reddish meat too, not so white like you get in the supermarket. Yeah.
Yes, they're almost. They're not as dark as duck, but they're definitely darker than the supermarket meat.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's a big difference. I've had people. I've given them a piece of that wild chicken. They're like, "What is this? Is it duck?" I said, "No, it's not duck." They taste it. It tastes like duck. I said, "No, that's chicken." Chicken. You don't believe me? I said, "Look, the head is right there and the feathers are over there." That's usually when they start getting sick. They see the feathers all over the side yard and the head over there. Like, ooh. So yeah, I got it from the parking lot at Presidente.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, show them where it came from. They're not going to appreciate that very much.
Because everybody knows I eat iguana and canal duck. If I offer them some duck, oh, I won't take it. I was like, here, have some chicken. Like, that doesn't
Yeah.
look like chicken. They said, that's chicken.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, folks. I mean, if you want to try and beat the inflation rush and everything like that at the moment, do Carnivore on the cheap. Move to Florida. Okay, they got hundreds of chickens in the car park. Just
There you go.
you just got to chase them down.
Muscovy duck, iguana, all kinds of good things.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. Florida's a great state. Sounds like a great plan. Yeah.
Well, where you live, you got a bunch of birds now.
Yeah, that's right. I got a heap of wild birds here. It's good. Like it doesn't cost much to feed them a bit of like wild bird seed, you know.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
But none of it's like pellets. Like I don't give them any of that soy stuff. But it's all just wild seed, and it's really cheap. And yeah, if you just want some in the morning, sometimes at night, I'll give them some feed. And there's about 150 ducks here at the moment. Just sitting. They all live like they've got long grass they can hide it. They nest in every year, just down past the dam, and so you always get the young ones come up as well. And then they all just love the dam. You know, it's quite a good little ecosystem for them there, right there in our front yard. So I don't have to go hunt them down or anything. I just give a bit of seed and they come to me.
Grab them.
So it's all good. Yeah, it's easy. I mean, it's really easy to grab, and there's all kinds of ducks too. I mean, the smallest ones are the whistlers. They're about, I suppose, maybe double the size of a pigeon. I guess a little bit. So not real big, but the wood ducks are quite good size, and then there's the Muscovies as well. So
those are big.
They're really, they're a nice big duck. Yeah, very tasty. So good meat, and I mean they eat whatever we put out as well. So sometimes they'll like if my folks will have some bread and stuff like that, I'll just chuck it to the ducks. So they get nice and fat. So that's all good. But all natural food basically, except for every now and then they get some leftovers. But they're good to have. Good to have around. Actually, it's not just. I mean, not just for food, my food, but like they do a lot of fertilizing. They keep the bugs off the trees, and they're good to have around. So because they're always up around the trees that I grow as well, and in the yard, they just sort of wander all over the place. So it's always, I think it's good to have them around. Good for the grass and everything else. Just fertilizer and so they do well on the bugs.
Oh yeah.
And the chickens following them around all day as well. So and the chickens are funny actually. Other than the chickens, they're kind of like dogs. Once you start feeding them, they they'll follow you home anyway. You don't have to chase them.
Nope.
Yeah. Like
they always go. You got food, they follow you everywhere.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, not much different to a dog, really. But they, like they follow me back to my flat, and they lay eggs at the front door. So I'm like, thanks for that.
Muscovy duck wags his tail like a dog.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, he gets every time he comes up for a feed when I put out the seed. So I put some in a bowl just for him, and like his tail's always wagging, just like a duck. He's excited to get food, So,
yeah,
it's good. Yeah, he's been around a long time now. He's a good sized duck.
Yeah, well, he'll be mating, and you'll see ducklings before you know it.
Yeah, hoping. Like there's now that the neighbours' ducks have all migrated down to our place down the front. They they've been hanging around him for quite a while. So hopefully we'll get some some more young ducks and be able to train them a bit to lay some more eggs.
There you go.
That would be good. I like those Muscovy eggs are big too. They're really
I know.
Big. Yeah, they're nice.
Good
So,
size eggs.
yeah, they're awesome. Yeah, good to have around. Have you got any ducks around your place again yet?
No, not yet. I mean, I may have to bring a load of them the next time I do a duck removal. Usually around the summertime, people have too many ducks. I'll bring a van load of them here and let them go, and then I'll have some ducks again.
Yeah, that's good. Sorry, I didn't see this. Rick, there's a pretty good design for a plucking machine made from an old working washing machine. You should look into. Can fill up your freezer with some chicken season.
Oh yeah.
Well, just chuck them in the washing machine and give them a couple of cycles and pluck all the feathers out.
Well, they have a thing with rubber fingers, and you drop it in there, and it spins around and it knocks the feathers off.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I still pluck them by hand.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, you do that when they're dead, obviously, right?
Yeah. After they're dead, you put them in boiling water to release the feathers, and then you pull the feathers off.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. I suppose if you chuck them in the washing machine, it'd do the same job at the same time, wouldn't it? Boil them 240 degrees. Oh, at least the feathers would be clean when they come out too. All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to end that there. I think we've done our duty for almost 2 hours. So thanks again, Rick, for coming on. Always had a good time talking to you and catching up. Always great advice as well. But last question. G'day, Stogs. Question: does gluconeogenesis replenish muscle glycogen? Yeah, well, muscle glycogen really, what happens is when you train your muscles in a specific way, your body will get used to bringing glycogen stores to that muscle in rest period, so that it's not really that. I mean, that's one of the uses that the body uses gluconeogenesis for, because we use glucose for other things, but we do get it from, mostly from amino acids, right, on the carnivore diet. But when you train, say if you're a sprinter, for example, okay, so you're going to have those glycogen in those cells is going to be more prevalent in those like your quadriceps and your legs and things like that, because you do a lot of sprinting. Okay, it's a natural adaptation to that sport. Okay, so whatever sport you do, whatever, your body will naturally start using those glucose stores to replenish the glycogen, or have that glycogen ready in those muscle cells the next time you do that sport in those specific muscle areas. Okay, that's how it works. So that's what building your fitness in that area does. Okay, it is one of those things that helps, not just help recovery, but it gets you ready for the next time you do that sport. Okay, it's that natural adaptation. All right. If that's what your body needs at the time, yeah, pretty much. Okay, but you will store, you will have the glycogen stores in those muscles ready to go if you are adapted to that sport at that time. Okay, so that's pretty much how the body works. It's always got a mechanism there to help support your fitness and to help whatever adaptation you are used to. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks very much. Hope you all have a great day and take care. And we'll see you all again next week. Okay.
Yep.
Excellent.